Hi there, I'm Mr. West. I'm one of the physics teachers here at Stanwell School. I'd like to take you upstairs and show you our physics department. Follow me. This is our physics department, right at the start of the upstairs bit of the school. We have 4 teaching labs and 2 prep rooms or storerooms. Let's start by having a look in F1 and seeing what we can see.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Thompson, the head of physics here at Stanwell School. Now, physics is one of the 3 branches of science that you will study from year 7 all the way through to year 11 for your GCSEs, and perhaps you'll even choose it for year 12 and 13 as an A-level. Now, physics is the study of the laws of nature. In essence, we want to understand how the universe works. It might be from the smallest particle that even the biggest and most powerful microscopes on Earth can't see, all the way through to stars and galaxies and objects in space that are so big that it's hard to imagine them. Now, we're going to give you a tour of the department where you'll meet our staff. We'll show you some of the topics that you will be introduced to and some of the questions that will be posed to you during your studies. We'll come back to this equipment later on, but let's start off in F2.
Hi, I'm Miss Lloyd. Here in F2 we're looking at electricity and magnetism, one of the topics that you'll study in year 7. And it sounds like Mr. Stevens has got something interesting.
Yeah, so the Van de Graaff generator can show us the fundamental nature of electrical charges and how they interact with each other. Everyone's experienced static shock at some point, probably from a trampoline or something like that. And the sparks here probably remind you of a natural phenomena you'll have seen probably on a stormy day. Also particularly good at giving people new hairdos, such as Barbie.
We also study magnetic fields in year 7, although we look at them in more detail at GCSE and find out how they can make things like motors work. At A-level, we look at this again in a lot more detail and try and look at some of the equations behind these interactions.
Hi there, I'm Mr. Parkin, and in this room we're going to be looking at forces in space. So, we want to understand forces on a very small scale in order to understand how they work on a more galactic scale. So, for example, in year 8 we might look at upthrust and buoyancy, and as well magnetism. We also have air pressure in year 10. So, how much pressure might it take to pop that balloon?
Speaking of forces, one force that everyone has heard of is gravity. And it's a question we'll keep looking at all through the school, both in year 8 and year 11, where we try and work out exactly how gravity works on Earth. But when we get later into the school, for example in year 13, we might study the mathematics and how gravity is able to act not just on Earth, but on huge scales between stars, planets and even galaxies. For example, this fantastic demonstration is modelling how gravity works in space. We can look at how a large object like the Sun distorts space-time and causes a gravitational field. We might then be interested into what that does to objects which are unfortunate enough to get close, and what that might do to objects who are able to orbit it. Speaking of space, it's one of the topics that everyone finds fascinating. We'll learn about it several times through your time in Stanwell, starting in year 8, where we'll look at our local solar system of planets.
Before learning about how stars form, how they live, how they die, and how the universe is formed. Another topic we look at is waves. So let's have a look at F3, let's see what's going on in there.
So, a wave is the term we give for a transfer of energy. There are lots of different waves we study, including sound waves and light waves.
We look at reflection and refraction in year 8, but then also continue that idea at year 10, looking at how we can use it in communication and discover how to make a rainbow like the one on the board.
So we'll also be looking about different types of seismic waves and how they travel through the Earth.
We might even learn how sound waves relate to musical instruments.
And learn about how light can be split up into spectra. which can tell us about the chemical makeup of distant galaxies.
And the expansion of the universe. Well, then we need to study the properties of individual atoms to fully understand that.
As you progress through the school, we'll continue to ask you questions about your ideas and your prior learning. Lots of the topics we study are connected together to each other and to other subjects in the school. If you remember, physics is the study of everything in the universe. We hope you've enjoyed your tour around our department, and we look forward to seeing you in the future where you can ask us questions.